In today's video, I'm 100%ing hill climb racing. We're talking all 44 vehicles, all 40 stages, a ton of upgrades, and a grind that took over 50 hours to complete. Playing this again was such a nostalgic trip for me. It was a huge part of my childhood, and I really hope you guys enjoy the video. If you do, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. Anyway, let's get into it. We're kicking things off with the car selection screen. Right now, we're gonna start with this janky red car to begin with. I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of not really good. It's kind of bad, but don't sweat it because there's a ton of really cool rides later on down the road that we're gonna unlock during this playthrough and during this road to 100% completion. As you guys can see, we're already going down the road. We're picking up some materials that we're gonna need along the way, but as we're going, we really don't want to flip over because if you do, you're gonna kill the driver and you're gonna snap his neck. Simple controls are you brake on the left and give gas and right. Easy enough, and we're already good. Cool. Off to a great start. Snapped his neck instantly. No one survived. Hitting play again. Our goal is to hit the 400 meter mark. That's the achievement that we're going for the first objective. I'm grabbing all the coins I see, taking it real slow because I do not want to break the guy's neck again. It's not real fun. I'm starting to get my sea legs back. It's been a minute since I last played this. I'm still getting used to mechanics. Last time I played this, I was like 10 or something anyway. In the process, we snagged our first achievement, First Hills, for driving 1,000 meters. Oh, and a heads up, you gotta watch out for those gas cans. That is the only way that you can continue the game and not stop halfway. But anyway, let's keep going. The game is, you gotta make sure you're not flipping over because that way you snap the guy's neck and then if you lose your fuel, it's game over. And that would not be good because you're probably gonna get to the very end and not be able to do it. So yeah, I wiped out again, a bit further in, flipped and snapped his neck. To help out a little ahead, I got some upgrades for the car. Didn't have a ton of coins, so it wasn't much, but hey, there's something, it's better than not being able to upgrade it at all and not being able to progress. I decided to unlock the next car, which is a little bit bigger, and it unlocks our first achievement for the cars, which is getting a new vehicle. And honestly, this thing's pretty good. It's gonna be super useful on a lot of maps later on, even being one of the starting cars. The reason is it's fully enclosed, so even if you flip, as long as you keep yourself right, you survive. You don't break the guy's neck because the driver's head is protected. Generally a really solid car, and it's way more useful as a starting car than you would actually think. So we go off in the family wagon, solo driver, so family's back at home. All that matters is getting these achievements and hitting the goal and making sure we get to the end. And then, as things couldn't get worse, the car just completely stalls on this one hill. Too slow and not enough juice, and realistically, we're not getting over this. Couldn't push through no matter how hard we tried. Slammed the gas, tried like 3-4 different times, and same result every time. Brick wall. So we grabbed an upgrade on the boost, threw some more upgrades on the car, and then finally we punched through that section. But we're not gonna get out of the woods just yet, because further in, I got stuck on the exact same type of hill all over again. This car is seriously underpowered. No torque at all. But I didn't quit. Even after flipping the car towards the end multiple times, I was at 796 meters. You wanna know how many I need? 800! And I died. 4 meters to go. 4 meters! Like, come on, man. So I take a bit of a breather. I tried out this new mode, basically a speed test, flat truck, no obstacles, and just see how you can floor it and see how fast the car can go. It's super chill, hopefully no breaking of necks. Let's get back to the grind on the main map. Still the first level, still struggling, but all because this car is really slow. But I keep farming coins, keep upgrading, keep getting those materials, and eventually I finally bust through that section. Time to unlock the next ride. Up next is the tractor? Oh man, this thing is an absolute unit. It barely flips like ever. It might not be the fastest thing that we got in the garage, but it's still a beast. The only time I got lost with it was when I ran out of gas. Otherwise, I would have easily cleared that level if it weren't for the fact that this thing absolutely chugs gas. Next, I tried the motorcycle, and yeah, hard pass. You literally just breathe on this thing the wrong way, and it sends you flying, and then you constantly, you die a lot on this thing. It's really not safe. The guy that doesn't even, what is the hat for? It barely protects him. We went back to the family wagon, and finally, we got our first 1,000 meters with it. Unfortunately, right after that, the car got stuck on the hill and could push through, so I had to bail on that idea. Rest in peace on that one. Tried the bike again? Nope. Dude just faceplants immediately every time. Immediately dies. I also tested out that event mode, the only one where you could pick 3 cards and each of them applies a modifier under run. One of them had gas down, meaning the car always accelerating, no brakes. Another had traction rush, which cranks up the speed and it's almost like you're on ice. Literally constantly at full speed, and the snow makes everything slippery but the map was pretty flat and it was manageable. Even though the car struggled on the hills, get up to 2,000 meters before dying. Not bad, I gotta say. Honestly, back to the main game. Throw some upgrades on the bike and try it again. Still didn't work, this thing sucks. It flips immediately right out of the gate, multiple times, made it to 400 meters, then 500, then still wiped out and died. This bike is by far one of the worst things I've ever touched in this game. So we're officially done with that thing. It's going into the trash, where it belongs. Whoa, time to unlock the hippie van. Bro, this thing has some stoners chilling in the back, bruh. The whole van is painted in this wild rainbow tie-dye situation. I really like it. Unlocking it also gives us an achievement for unlocking the first 5 vehicles. Quick little side note though, I'm not going to be showing every achievement going forward. For some reason, most mobile games on my setup have this issue where achievement animations don't always pop up on the screen. So I've already unlocked way more than we're going to be showing, probably 15 or so. So I'm just going to focus on the gameplay itself. The main goals are unlocking the cars and the maps and maxing out the upgrades, and that's where the real fun is. All right, testing the hippie van, got 2 passengers in the back. Let's try and keep them alive, and honestly, the van's not bad. Handles pretty well and not a ton of rollover risk. Very chill to drive. It's just kind of sluggish. But other than that, it's solid, of course, and that doesn't last very long as the whole roof gets ripped off and now the dudes in the back are totally exposed. One wrong bump and it's lights out for them. But we keep on going. Eventually, the van's wedged up against this ledge on top of a hill, and that's game over. Running out of gas again. Try to get up there. Didn't work. Tried it in event mode, going for 1,000 meters, but the van is worse than the family wagon, and it only makes it around 500 meters or so. Next up, we unlock the seasons map. Really like this one. It cycles through 4 seasons as you drive: winter, spring, summer, fall. Super cool concept. Use the tractor to try and push through it, but it couldn't pull it off. The tractor just wasn't cutting, unfortunately enough. So we unlocked another vehicle, the monster truck. Now this is solid. This one is wild. It made it much further and then through the ice sections, which no other vehicle can do it. Then we unlock the dessert map. Literally a candy-themed level with lollipops sticking out of the ground. It's bizarre and I love it, and it's easier than most maps too. Made it through the first couple checkpoints with the tractor, but I also ran out of gas before the end. Tried the monster truck too, and that one also unfortunately did not make it. To push through, I finally unlocked the Carantula. Car tarantula? Which is less of a car and more of a mechanical spider robot thingy, and honestly, it sucks. Like, genuinely one of the worst vehicles in the game. The only upside is that it rarely flips, so if you're going as slow as a snail, you won't die from that, but you will run out of gas. And then, to make me eat my words, I immediately died from flipping it. Lucky me. Classic. Never thought my ability to lose in the most embarrassing way possible was going to happen. But anyway, we continue. Next, we unlock the Super Hill Climber, a big gnarly Jeep, and this thing goes really fast, tears through everything, no obstacles, no problem. But of course, on one massive hill, it flew backward, and you know the rest, because of course I did. Then I unlocked the Mega Highway ramp, and this one might be my favorite so far. It's got these giant swords raining down from the sky, and visually it's so cool to look at. It's stunning. Easily one of the coolest looking maps in the game. First attempt, I made it 1,000 meters, which is solid for the first run. Tried the hippie van too, but it ran out of gas right before the next checkpoint, and this van kind of sucks fuel. So we dropped 200,000 coins on the trophy cup. Expensive, but worth it. This thing has a massive suspension, but as it bounces all over the place, it's hilarious. Tested it on the seasons map, which is still one of my favorites, but I had a blast until the car flipped and face planted. Then I tried it on the ice map. Got close to 700 meters, but ended up flipping out again. Tried a bunch of different cars on this map. Nothing was sticking, so I moved to explore other levels. At this point of the game, I'm not really trying to go for 100% yet. I'm just vibing, testing out the different cars, really having fun with it, and we're not going in it right now. Tried the highway map with the bike, and this actually was pretty easy compared to the others. The fact that I'm using the bike, which I always die on, and it sucks, which I was able to make it to 1,000 meters, and it says a lot. Even the 1,200 meter checkpoint. But then there's this super steep hill, and the bike just doesn't have the power to climb it. Wiped out on the way back down, snapped the neck, who would have known? Unlocked the cave map. This one's trickier. There's a lot of ceilings in this section, which if you're going too fast, you're gonna clip it and you'll die. It's just something that you gotta watch out for. This is actually where the family wagon shines, since it's fully enclosed and can take those hits no problem. Made it to the 700 meter mark on where the bike flipped before, then switched to the family wagon. Way smoother. No flippage, didn't have to worry about it, but then got stuck on a hill with no power. Game over. Moving on. Then I decided to try the one-wheeler. This single-wheeled thing, I didn't even know what to call it. And yeah, it's exactly as bad as it sounds. Dude faceplants on literally the smallest bump ever, dies, and even after throwing all the upgrades at it, it still sucks. This thing is terrible. Hopefully later on we can find something with it, but I don't know if that's gonna happen. I didn't know how the guy is still alive after all the times that he smashed his face into the ground and just obliterated himself. Absolute punishment on this guy. He's comping it all. And so with that, I picked up a new car. The quad bike, and honestly, this thing is super sick. Like, genuinely, I'm really feeling this one. It's a lot of fun, really top tier. I don't know why, but there's something just different about it. Just hits different, man. I also jump into the new map, the Moon map, which is really cool. It's a pretty simple map overall, but the only real issue is that there's some sections that are really steep, and your car really needs enough power to be able to climb over those hills. But my quad bike right now is pretty weak, and I actually fell backwards and snapped the guy's neck. But it's cool, we'll get stronger soon. But out there, we're just gonna keep grabbing coins. But right now, we're a little too underpowered to push through this one. Then, we're gonna actually jump onto the boot camp map, which I thought was really cool too. It's got those sections where there's stuff hanging overhead on the ceiling, and if you clip it, you'll break your neck and die. The quad bike isn't ideal for this choice of map, but it's whatever. Let's run it. I died immediately on a pile of sandbags, which there's a skull sitting on them, and I'm sure that was foreshadowing some stuff to come. But whatever, let's try again. Getting further in, you start hitting those sections where I mentioned there's a ceiling above you, and you can't go too fast or you'll slam into it and, yeah, hurt yourself. That being said, this map is actually way fewer of those spots than you'd expect. It's more relaxed overall, and there are only some areas that are an actual danger. So the main challenge in this one is really all that stuff scattered on the ground. You have to roll over tires, for example. If you try to drive over them, you lose your momentum, you're going to not make it through, you're not going to have enough power, and you're going to die. You have to just commit and send it on one clean go. And honestly, a little luck doesn't hurt, because either way, you're gonna make it or you're not. After that, I went and unlocked the Mars map, and this one is a really cool map. It's one of those simpler maps again, where the main difference is basically just the texture of the terrain in the mountains. It doesn't really bring much of anything widely brand new to the table. It's pretty similar to the Moon map previously, it just has some small bridges that you now have to cross here and there. There are a lot of standout features, but not on this map. Now, I will say this, further into the video, you'll see maps that are genuinely really creative, and they bring a lot of new elements, but this one is more pretty straightforward. Which makes it tricky is that the low-hanging ceiling bits are basically everywhere on this map. Like, the entire thing is structured like a long cave. That makes it really rough to use a vehicle like the quad bike since it's open top and your rider's head just keeps getting obliterated by the ceiling, man. You really have to be in a fully closed vehicle for this one, like our favorite, the family wagon, which is way easier on this one since it has a full roof. The quad just struggles here, and it's really not a great fit, unfortunately. Then I unlocked the tour bus. 3 passengers in the back, and I'm already telling you this one, these 3 are not surviving. Absolutely no chance, but we're not gonna tell them that. The driver here is a bit on the crazy side, but it's alright. Let's take our tourists on a little adventure across the Moon map, picking up coins and diamonds along the way, and oh man, what a terrible vehicle. This thing is just awful. It's massive, it's incredibly slow, and the size makes it a nightmare to control. It's just bad. It's really bad. And the gas is almost certainly going to run out because this thing absolutely tows itself along the ground. And to top it all off, you got these 3 passengers in the back that are somehow responsible for keeping you alive. If you hit any of these guys, it's a game over. There's probably an achievement in somewhere for keeping them alive for a certain amount of time. But right now, it's just trying to make it as far as I can possibly. I'm not focused on completing anything specific, just getting a real feel for things with this vehicle. Because honestly, your boy might need to go and get some actual driver's license before operating any of these vehicles. I'm a menace on the road. And just like I predicted, the gas runs out just as we're about to grab a fuel container on the ground. Like, I was literally 1 meter away from it. 1 meter! And that's it. So I went back and did some upgrades on the bus, specifically the gas tank, just to see if it would help. It got a tiny bit better from last time, but honestly, it's still terrible. It's still painfully slow. It still sucks to control. It's just a massive lumbering box that doesn't want to cooperate with me at all. All the other vehicles are way better than this thing, but hey, we've got to test everything if we're going for that 100%. So let's see what we're doing. Next up, I unlocked the race car, and this thing, honestly, kind of looks like a Formula 1 car. And even though it's not technically one, it is really sick, and it's seriously fast. It catches massive air, it's way more responsive, way better at this sluggish bus that we were just driving, and it makes everything feel more manageable. Completing objectives, hitting distances, all of it. I died somehow around 620 meters on it. Yeah, I know, your boy is not exactly dominating right now, but I'll get through these maps eventually. For now, I'm just going to be testing the vehicles and we're going to see how these feel. And then we unlock the police car. Pretty cool vehicle. It actually does break off at certain situations. Out of every car we've tested, the family wagon is genuinely the only one where the roof stays completely on no matter what. So you drive directly into these cave ceilings, you can smash into overhead obstacles, and the family wagon doesn't break. The police car does not hold up the same way. As soon as you get it, we flipped it upside down, and the whole car just crumpled apart, and the dude just instantly died. It's honestly pretty fragile. I genuinely don't understand why the family wagon is built the way it is, considering it's a family car, and this is a police car, but it just seems completely indestructible. Like, the only way you can actually die is either by flipping it fully upside down and not being able to right yourself, or running out of gas. You will never ever snap this guy's neck in this car. It will not happen. Alright, moving on. The Super Diesel 4x4. And oh man, this thing is an absolute unit. Massive tires, massive suspension, and honestly, my dream car right here. This thing looks incredible. The size of those wheels, it's just monstrous. But it's a little tricky to control. It pops up really easy when you accelerate. It's kind of feels like you're doing a wheelie all the time, and keeping it stable takes some effort. I'm not sure if that's just because it doesn't have an upgrades yet, or if that's just how it handles outright, but right now, it bucks really hard when you gun it. Like, when you accelerate all over the place. Still, honestly though, it's awesome looking truck. I'm definitely gonna put some work in it with some upgrades. I also tried this new map, the farming map, which is this cute countryside level with cows chilling in the background. Though I thought it was a nice touch. Some of the more distinctive looking maps with some real detail put into the background art, it's got these like farm hay bales on the ground that you really don't want to touch. I think they're like food or for the cows or something. But whatever they're called, they're a pain in the neck on this map because you can't sit straight on your path. Your car doesn't have enough clearance to roll over them. You flip backwards, and yeah, as you just saw, it's exactly what happened to me. I just died. And we're now unlocking the ambulance, which honestly makes a lot of sense given that we're snapping the driver's neck out here. Let's be real, I am genuinely the worst possible candidate to be driving an ambulance. Like, I can barely keep myself alive at this point. So imagine what's happening if to the patient sitting in the back. Look at that leg at the back door. The back doors are flying open every 2 seconds. That poor patient has zero chance of surviving and actually making it to the hospital. And this road never ends. We're actually never going to arrive anywhere. And by the time we're gonna get there, there's gonna be nothing left of the guy. And just like I warned you, we don't make it. At 277 meters, we crashed and absolutely totaled the whole ambulance. Both of us died, me and the patient. Nobody made it out there. So now, the next car that we unlock is generally one of the best ones in the game. The rally car. This thing absolutely slaps. It's super fast, it's surprisingly easy to control, and it makes everything feel easier. Hitting objectives and just clearing everything. Man, I love this thing. And honestly, after getting this thing, I decided that this is the first car that we're gonna go for 100% for the clearance of all the maps. The rally car is just going to be essential for that. The first map already cleared. It's one of the easiest ones in the game, obviously, you know. Doesn't require a crazy distance. When you see the red checkered flag on the screen, that means I've already hit all the main objectives for that map. After that red flag, that continues indefinitely, but the core objectives are done, and that's all that matters. So we can move on. The boot camp, as you can see, there's a red checkered and white flag. That's one of the real objectives we need to hit. The rally car, this thing is pretty smooth. You needed to hit 1,600 meters for the second objective, and that wasn't a big deal at all. There's one section where you dip into some water and it slows you down, but with this thing you can just push through it. And then 800 meters, since all the main goals were already done. I stopped caring about that at this point and let myself die, fall backwards and snap the guy's neck, classic, but hey, boot camp is done. Now Mars. This one has a few objectives that we still need to knock out. We need to reach 1,400 meters to finish all of them. Started smooth with the 500 meter mark, and like I said, the toughest bit of this map are those cave sections with the low ceiling. So we can't go too fast, otherwise you're gonna hit the top. That's a broken neck. As you can literally see that happening to me right here as I'm saying it. So you've got to ease off on the gas with these sections. I tried to approach it a few different ways with a few different vehicles to figure out the best approach. Went back to the super robot car, but this thing is, again, terrible. It's too slow, it's too clunky, can't make it work. Try the motorcycle, and that just makes it even worse. The bike accelerates too fast, and it just keeps clipping the ceiling every time, no matter how careful you try to be. So I ended up falling back to our old reliable classic. You know him, you love him, the family wagon. And I'm telling you right now, this car is basically indestructible. It pretty much is able to go through the entire way and nothing happens. It basically makes navigating these cave maps so much less stressful. I was still creeping all the way through slowly because I got nervous, but at least I wasn't dying from the ceiling. The only real issue with this map with the family wagon isn't the ceiling. It's that the car is slow. So some of the hills out here are really steep and it can't completely push through. I tried over and over and over, but hitting these sections where it got stuck and refused to move no matter what. Tried the trophy truck as a backup. It still broke the neck of the guy. Tried the police car. Also caved under the pressure. Always super fragile like that. The family wagon really is the only way that you can get through these caves because it's the only one that will hold up structurally. So I went back to it, kept grinding, kept trying to build up enough speed before hitting those steep sections, and eventually I broke through to the 1100 meter mark. Still needed 1400 meters for that last one. The solution I found was nitro. I bought a handful of boost charges and saved one for that section where the car always stalled, fired it off, and it absolutely blasted through, hitting that 1400 meter mark finally getting it done with Mars. The car instantly ran out of gas after that, but moving to the point where I genuinely did not care. Map cleared, moving on. The super countryside was next, and we needed 1,000 meters to wrap up the objectives. I started doing it with the family wagon to see what it could do. Didn't do good. The obstacles on this map just kept flipping us over and over. So basically I went back to the rally car, which has become my default at this point for most of the maps, given how good it is. Even with that, the obstacles in this section, they gave me a bit of a hard time, but the extra power lets us come through and ramp up through these sections and just go through everything. The bridge section got me though. I broke mid-run and fell into a gap below, and once you're down there, you basically can't get up. It's basically a game over. It's almost impossible to climb out of it. Restarted it, a few more solid attempts, but eventually I hit the 1,000 meter mark, and that's where this little thing happens that when you hit the objective. The crowd goes absolutely nuts. And someone in the crowd actually yeets a baby into the air, like straight up chucks the baby. Poor kid. But whatever, we're gonna keep going. I ended up hitting the 1,300 meter mark, but since I wasn't pushing anymore, the important stuff is done here. Next we move on. Mega Highway. And I gotta say, it's got these giant swords that are raining down, and I will say it again, this is genuinely one of the most beautiful maps in the entire game. I'm not exaggerating, it's stunning. It's actually the perfect, manageable difficulty-wise. No crazy obstacles, just drive through the mountain terrain, keep your car under control. I snapped my neck around the 1,200 meter mark, but somehow managed to grab the checkpoint flag right before dying. But it wasn't exactly enough. I still had 2 more objectives, so I ran through it again with the rally car. This map isn't that hard. It just comes down to keeping your composure and not overcorrecting on the hills. I hit the 1,500 meter marks for check park 1, and then I hit the 1,800 meter mark for the final one. All objectives on the sword map are done, so those infinite red flags keep going after, but you're only chasing the main objectives for the 100%, so we just stopped doing it. I coasted all the way up, almost, to the 2,600 meters. If I actually focused and didn't sell, I think I could have made it past 5,000 meters easy. But I did get some upgrades in the rally car after, and it's our most upgraded vehicle so far, and I want to keep it really sharp. At this point, I unfortunately ran out of coins to buy the next map, the Christmas map, so I farmed a bit on the Mega Desert map to build up some gold and some other resources. I kind of just burned through whatever I had to do on upgrades, so I just went ahead and unlocked the tank, maxed out all its upgrades immediately, and then headed straight to the Christmas map as soon as I could do it. And honestly, this map's so good. It's very festive. I love Christmas, and I love the aesthetic. Even the coins have these little jolly Christmas skins. And then there were these little Christmas trees scattered all around the back of the track that try to block you. But honestly, it's super easy to just smash through it. And the tank turns into this kind of perfect vehicle for this map. There aren't a lot of huge steep hills demanding a massive power, and it's mostly just rolling over trees and light obstacles, which is exactly what this tank is built for. Cleared all these obstacles and all these objectives in like 2 or 3 runs, very smooth. Ran out of gas after the 1,400 meter mark, but the objectives were already done, so it didn't matter at all. Now, dude, the alien planet. Kept rolling on with the tank, and honestly, I was trying to quietly grind towards that 1 million meter achievement in the background. Which, side note on that, a lot of these achievements are actually bugged. So if you drive around for 5,000 to 10,000 meters with a vehicle, the achievement tends to unlock early even if it says 1 million. But some of them just flat out don't trigger, which is why I ended up giving up on a few of them. Anyway, the alien planet is fairly easy overall. Some steeper hills here and there, but the maxed out tank handles it just like a tank. Then you hit one of those absolute monster hills that the tank just unfortunately can't climb. I love you, buddy, but it's okay. So I pushed through on the last remaining upgrades on the tank, which finally made it my first maxed out vehicle in the garage, which popped the Collector's Edition achievement, and the difference is genuinely noticeable. The fully upgraded tank is way faster, way more responsive, and it's able to master you fully getting up that hill. But unfortunately, it lied, and it just did not work. Some hills are, unfortunately, just too much for this thing, but beyond that, the tank couldn't handle it on its own. But we bring in our good friend Nitro, and it can. I bought 10 of them, and the thing went absolutely airborne, flying over every huge hill like it was nothing, just launched into the sky, blazed through the 1,400 meter mark, and knocked out every single objective on the alien planet comfortably. Now, we're gonna move on to the ice map next. Pretty manageable overall. It's got these low-hanging ceilings again, but the icicle-type things hanging from the ceiling don't actually kill you. You actually just can avoid them. You just have to avoid the solid ceiling sections. I kept going with the tanks since I was chasing that 1 million meters on it. But it's honestly not the ideal pick here. It really has to crawl through this map, wrong move, and a little too much speed, and you're going to eat the ceiling and snap the guy's neck for about the 1 millionth time on this run. So I made it through the entire objectives and got to the 4th checkpoint. I got to the 5th, which required 1,400 meters, and things suddenly started getting harder. So I tested other vehicles to find something better. Tried the electric car, maxed it out, and took it for a run. It's quick, but honestly, it's a little too quick, and I immediately smashed into the ceiling and destroyed the top of half of the car. Miraculously, the neck didn't snap. Also, as an electric car, we're picking up batteries instead of gas, which is kind of cool and a really neat detail, but ultimately, it doesn't matter, and we kept clipping the ceiling, so it wasn't the answer. I tried the rally car, insanely fast, but the speed is actually a liability on this map, and I hit the ceiling almost instantly. Now, it's not impossible to use an open-top car here. You can do it, it just requires a lot more patience and self-control. But actually actively hold yourself back for not going full speed, which, given the rally car is so cool, it's the instinctual idea. But it's doable. Eventually, I went back to, you guessed it, say it with me, people, the family wagon. It's the only car with an indestructible roof. Maxed out all the upgrades and helped with the hills, but before doing that, I ran into some upgrades on the one-wheeler, which, just to tick it off the list, finishing the upgrades triggered another achievement called Golden Sample for fully upgrading a total of 5 vehicles. Back onto the icy map with the family wagon. The protection is great as always, but the power just isn't there for the steeper sections on this map. The Mars Cave, more manageable because even though it is mostly flat, this one has one elevation change. With even nitros, it wasn't really cutting it on the family wagon. So eventually I had to swap back to the rally car and just committed to being more disciplined with the throttle. Slower, more controlled, and occasional nitro boosts on that hill where eventually the rally car needs help. Honestly, it really is hard to manage. I used a nitro a few times, but ended up clipping the ceiling and dying, just unfortunately. But it is genuinely the best option available, and currently our best bet at finishing this map, since even the rally car sometimes struggles on this map's big hills without a boost. But after a whole lot of attempts, a whole lot of patience, and some carefully timed nitro usage, I managed to clear the icy map with 1,400 meters. One of the hardest maps I've done so far. Honestly, it's so brutal. And after hitting that objective, I basically let myself die at the 1,500 meter mark because I was completely done with this thing and I didn't want to play it on it anymore. Anyway, let's move on. The forest map. Switching back to the tank, this map is basically full of trees and the tank is absolutely perfect for that, just rolling over everything in its path. Died once early from losing control, but the faith in the tank never wavered. And this thing is dominating the forest, catching huge air off the hills, steamrolling every obstacle. Used a nitro around the end to completely launch off the ground and I hit the 1,200 meter mark, no problem. Clean run. Also, I had a funny moment right here where I used the nitro the wrong way and it launched me backwards, but objectives were already done, and I didn't care at this point. Next up, the mountain map. Bought and unlocked it, headed in with the tank. This map is also really suited for the tank. A lot of interconnected peaks, the valleys that would trap a lot of other cars, but the tank just rolls over it. Hit 1,200 meters and clear the map pretty easily. Probably one of the quicker maps I've done. Threw a nitro in at the end just to have a bit of fun and flew all the way. The mountain itself is kind of hilariously endless. It just kind of goes up forever. No ceiling or end in sight. Taller than Everest. I eventually died around the 1,800 meter mark, but only because I wasn't trying to push it anymore. Ragnarok. And I genuinely mean this. I think this might be the single most beautiful map in the game. Like, just look at it. There are these massive mythological creatures looming in the background. The coins are placed by these little animated creatures that bob up and down. Just look at them. The gas and the brakes are reskinned with Ragnarok-themed icons. The entire map is fully redesigned from the top to bottom. The entire map's vibe is incredible. Every single element, it's bringing a tear to my eye. Every collectible, every button, every detail. It's completely changed to fit the theme. I really wish more maps in this game did this, because it genuinely feels like a different experience. Difficulty-wise, though, it's super easy. I rolled through here with the tank without ever really feeling like I was at danger of hurting myself. Eventually, hit the 1,200 meter mark, and I cleared all the other objectives, comfortably. And genuinely, I think if I kept going, I could have reached 5,000 or 10,000 meters on this map without dying, or at least gotten pretty far. But eventually, I did let myself die, and I moved on. At this point, dun-dun, I hit the 1 million meter achievement with the tank. I only swapped off to it. The new ride, the Moonlander. Maxed out all its upgrades immediately, and obviously got it ready to go. Then I unlocked the mud pool map, which is kind of this swampy, gross muck that kills your speed if you fall into it. Now the Moonlander's whole deal is that it can literally fly, since it's designed to be on the moon. It has thrusters built into it, and the mechanic is if you hold the gas and the brake at the same time, you launch forward into the air. The only thing is, fuel is pretty limited on this vehicle, which is a good thing, because without the limitation, this thing would be completely broken, which, I'm gonna be so honest, I kinda wanted it to be, but realistically, I know why it's not. It would make this entire grind completely a joke, but we're gonna move on. You eventually would never lose with this thing, and as long as you watch your fuel carefully, this is the one most fun and controllable vehicles in the game, really enjoyable, and the mud pool map was basically a joke with it. Cleared it easily and got to the 1,200 meter mark in my first real attempt. The volcano map. Everything is red. Everything is on fire. There is lava everywhere. Fall into the lava, stay too long, and you die. The Moonlander basically dismantled this map. 1,200 meters done. It really wasn't even close. I'll be honest though, in terms of pure fun factor and how it feels to drive, I'd rather do the map with the rally car, but for getting through the main objectives and completing maps efficiently, the Moonlander just genuinely might be the best in the game. The real way of losing is running out of fuel. The beach map. Still running the Moonlander since we're trying to get to that 1 million meter grind for it. And yeah, cruising through the first try again, hit 1,200 meters without any drama. This vehicle is just genuinely ridiculously good. If used on every single map, I'd probably clear almost all of them on my first attempt. It's kind of absurd. Finally died at 1,500 meters after the objectives were wrapped, just to get to the next one. Factory map. This one has a bit more going on. It's an indoor factory level, so the low ceiling throughout, pipes to duck under, spinning gears and machinery, crates that fall on you, toxic waste zones you can't sit in too long, and if you're clipping the ceiling too hard, your neck snaps. But since the Moonlander can fly, the toxic zones are basically a non-issue. Just float straight through and around everything. The main challenge is just managing your speed and around the ceilings. Still pretty easy though, and I cleared it. Got around 1,700 meters after the objectives were already handled. The roller coaster. Love this map. It's got a great 360 loop. Very classic roller coaster energy. Outside of this, it's pretty much just steep hills with no major objectives. The hills you can catch on if you're not careful. The Moonlander just floats over them though. So the only thing that really got me was running out of gas near the end. If that hadn't happened, I truly think I would have never died on this map, but luckily, the gas never ran out, so I grabbed the main objective and didn't have to replay it. The night map. Visibility is lower here. Everything goes dark, you're basically just navigating by headlights. But it's not actually harder because of this. No wild obstacles, just hills and mountains to roll through. The Moonlander makes those literally a joke. I'm just putting this vehicle on the top of my 3 of all time. Honestly, maybe top 1. The only real management skill is fuel, as we've said before. If you're flying constantly, the tank drains fast, but if you're using it smart, you're never really dying. Hit 1,200 meters for the final objective and wrapped it up without much stress. Rooftops. You're driving across rooftops of city buildings. Though, I did think that this map was kind of annoying, honestly. There are these small little ramps that you would hit at the right angle and you would flip over, but despite this, I loved it. it actually cleared pretty fast. 1,200 meters done, kept going past the target all the way to 2,600 meters. Just cruising, man. Junkyard. Wrecked and smashed cars everywhere. Some bumpy, uneven terrain that you can flip up on. Got pretty close on my first run, actually. Hit 1,200 meters, and I ended up sitting at around 1,090 meters. So, pretty good. And then the gas ran out, unbelievably so. So, we went again, used some nitro, fired it off, blasted past that mark we needed, and done. Construction map. Similar to the rooftops, ramps, platforms, industrial stuff everywhere, but only a step harder. Just because it got annoying, because the metal scaffolding and the building material you have to navigate over fell completely off the map once, which is essentially an instant death. But after a few solid attempts, I cleared the 1,200 meters, though a little tougher than the rooftops, but manageable. The rainbow map. Okay, this one actually is kind of tough. The platforms here have these disconnected rainbow arches that don't really line up cleanly with each other, so you're kind of having to be careful that you don't drive off into the edge, just into literally nothing. Lots of gaps, awkward elevation, differences between the arches, and because you're all floating at different heights, sometimes one will be above you and you'll bonk your head on it and just die. Really annoying map. Died a few times more than usual, but got through it realistically pretty easy. Eventually, I hit the 1,200 meters and died at around 1,500 meters after that. It's worth mentioning. The Moonlander still hasn't popped that 1,000,000-meter achievement, even after all these maps. And yeah, actually legitimately driving 1,000,000 meters on a single vehicle is genuinely insane. Now, there really isn't a realistic path to doing this with every car in the game. I just think it wouldn't be worth it. We gotta make more than one video every year, okay? Time management has to be the key in order to get this done. And I'm just hoping that this bug eventually just kicks in. Haunted map. Halloween theme, little graveyard sections, jack-o'-lanterns to dodge, a bridge made of bones, walking skeletons wandering around the map. Great aesthetic. I love Halloween. One of the most entertaining maps just to vibe in, but it has some real obstacles that can catch you off guard and kill you if you're not paying attention. It took a good number of attempts to get that 1,200 meters done. The North Pole, icy mountains, snow-covered trees, widely very wintry. Kind of a mix between the ice map earlier and the Christmas map. It's got those rooftop-style sections mixed in, so you've got the hybrid of two gameplay types on this map. The combo isn't super challenging between these two, though there isn't a ton going on difficulty-wise. To compensate for how smooth it plays, the distance required is longer, with around 2,000 meters. But even though it is pretty comfortable, I genuinely think that if I kept going, I could have hit 5,000 or 6,000 meters without dying. Just going and kept getting easier. The nuclear plant. This one, I hate it. This is my least favorite type of map in the entire game. It's one of those indoor industrial layouts with low ceilings the whole way through, and if you're going too fast, you die. I snapped my neck at around 300 meters, just moving too quickly. You have to creep through this thing like you're walking on ice, keeping the speed low the whole time. There's just toxic flooring sections, but staying patient and keeping everything controlled, I finally was able to push past that 1,200 meter mark that we needed and completed it. Arena map. This one, I genuinely loved. Monster truck arena vibes, with giant stacks of buses to smash through, rings to drive through, launch pads that send you flying, and the whole thing is spectacularly over the top. The rule here is no nitro in most sections, which I actually thought was a pretty cool twist. Only specific zones allow it. Hardest part that I genuinely thought was the swinging metal contraption that you had to time in order to get past the uphill go. If you clip it wrong, it destroys you. It took a while to nail the timing, but once I had it cleared, I had all 5 objectives and was able to move on. And with that, I finally got the 1,000,000-meter achievement with the Moonlander. I cannot tell you how relieved I was to swap out of this vehicle finally. And then we got a new ride, the Sleigh. Santa's actual sleigh, with reindeer pulling it. Maxed out the upgrades, which progressively adds more reindeer as you level it up. With just a few upgrades, you got 1 reindeer pulling you. Fully maxed out, you get 4, which means way more stability, way more powerful. In full honesty, it sucks, but this is probably one of the worst vehicles in the game, unfortunately. Genuinely miserable to control, and I can't stand this thing under, just looking back on it. Triangle map. This map is brutal. there's a crocodile mid-map that opens its mouth, and if you're not paying attention, you're gonna drive right inside of it. And if it snaps shut while you're in there, it's game over. Further in, there are these moving platforms that shift constantly. You're trying to navigate with this Santa sleigh, which is a complete disaster. After many, many attempts, rough map, rough vehicle, not a fun combination, but I finally got it. Then we can move on to the next one. Neon map. Vibes again. These map developers really know what they're doing. It looks like one of those lo-fi chill music streams, like real 90s, 80s neo themed. Everything is glowing neon. All the skins are changed to match the aesthetic. Really cool looking. The challenge is these bridge sections made of moving platforms that kept shifting on beneath you. The reindeer kept getting snagged on them and kept completely locking up. But I grinded it out and eventually got to 1,000 meters and then got completely stuck with the vehicles that I had. I'm done. I'm swapping vehicles right now. I'm unlocking the finger screw. I'm not exactly sure what this thing is, but it has these huge ramps that send it flying. On the neon map's shifting bridge sections, it could basically just leap over the entire thing. Maxed out all the upgrades, added some nitro, and the first attempt, done. The Prognos map. Back on the Santa sleigh for that achievement about going super far, as you know. And this map is no joke. Flying rocks that you have to duck under, water sections with these weird fish creatures that physically grab onto the sleigh and stop it from moving. I got to around the end, almost at the objective, and then I died. That said, so close, and I couldn't do it with the sleigh anymore. I swapped to the dune buggy, maxed it out, got the achievement for fully maxing out 10 vehicles, which, awesome by the way, really getting close there, and tried with that, and I still couldn't clear it. This map is just so unforgiving on so many vehicles. Unlocked and tried a bunch of other cars, nothing was clicking, but until I unlocked the Kitty Express, literally a train carrying kids in the back cars, maxed out everything, already accepted the passengers not making it. Sure enough, every single kid died. Sorry guys, but it did give me an achievement, drop the extra weight, for ditching all the extra cars, which honestly was one of the easiest achievements to get, because all you have to do is crash the thing. Then there's another vehicle I unlocked with this comically oversized rear wheel. It looks wild, but drives terribly. This giant wheel makes it considerably easy to flip and wheelie, completely uncontrollable, worst vehicle in the game, hands down. Now imagine trying to grind 1,000,000 meters with this thing. That would be actual torture. Fire truck next. Maxed out everything. The firefighter on top immediately went flying the second I started moving. Tried a couple more times, couldn't get closer to 500 meters, couldn't even clear 300. Next up, the chopper motorcycle. Maxed out the upgrades. One of those upgrades gave this absolutely massive long front fork. Absurdly, bizarrely long. That bike became unrideable. Even after toning down that specific upgrade, it was nearly impossible to control. It was way too fast, it was constantly flipping, going up and down all over the place except where I wanted it. Moving on. Snowmobile. Decent vehicle in general. The problem is this specific map, the flying rocks are everywhere, and if you're going too fast, you're just gonna eat it and break the guy's neck. Gotta crawl through it, make sure you're taking your time. I tried one car after another, one of those custom-built cars with the big speaker types, and one that actually pushed about 800 meters. Took another solid run and somehow died at around 12,000 meters, the same spot every time. There's this water section with those fish, there's a water section with those fish creatures, and it just locks you in place. After a ridiculous amount of attempts across a ridiculous number of vehicles, I unlocked and tried the Hovercraft. Died a lot getting used to it, but eventually after grinding through it, I hit that end and finally did it. The mini bike unlocked, maxed up all the upgrades, rinse and repeat, and took it to the bogland map, and this bike, it's just weird. The rider rocks back and forth constantly, and it's unsure whether it's gonna go forward or backward. Completely bizarre, weird, terrible behavior. Moved on instantly. The big monster truck. And another big world beast that is actually really good. The bogland map is more forgiving than those recent ones, and the big truck just rolls over everything. Cleared it in my first run, easily finished it, keeping to around 1,600 meters before letting myself die, and moving on. The mutant car. Kind of reminds me of the DeLorean from Back to the Future for some reason. That's such a good movie. Anyway, you might completely disagree, but there's something about it that just gives those vibes. Anyway, onward to the suburbs map. And this is the hardest map in the entire game. and it's not even close. I spent hours, actual hours, trying to clear this one, and the worst part is, you can't even use your own car. The game forces you to use a specific built-in vehicle for this map, which I didn't even know about for the longest time. I kept unlocking cars, wondering why none of them were able to be selected, and eventually it clicked. You are stuck with whatever car this map provides. No choice, you're just stuck. And if you can't do it with that, you can't do it. The map itself has these pit sections that you can fall into, and getting out of them ranges from annoying to literally impossible. Some pits you can escape, others, if you fall in, it's over. You die, accept it, and restart. Especially where there's this steam vent that you have to perfectly time to launch yourself out of a specific hole. Miss the timing, and you're trapped. The goal scenario, the end of the map, is 4,200 meters. Let me repeat myself. That is almost 4 times every other map's distance to finish. Which, by the way, is the longest level in the game by far. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I spent hours on this map. The random seagulls that fly around, break your neck, don't hurt either. Sometimes the car gets physically wedged into a gap and genuinely you cannot move in either direction. The only option you have is to restart or die. And in which case, both of those scenarios make you redo it. The only thing that got me through this was going all in on nitro. I used 10 charges, and eventually, even though it was so difficult, but after long, brutal hours and multiple attempts, I finally crossed that threshold of 4,200 meters and cleared the map. And without those nitros, it would have been impossible. Absolutely the worst video game level that I've played on this channel in recent memory. Anyway, action hero map next. Started with the snowmobile, died a few times trying to learn the layout, though there are these palm trees and brushes that explode when you hit them and sometimes launch you into the ground. Tried the fast car, maxed it out, still couldn't push through. Those last maps are seriously ramping up in difficulty. Eventually I grabbed a motorcycle and it turned out to be perfect for this one. Super fast with big launch ramps, and you can essentially fly over sections of this map. Cleared it in pretty much a handful of attempts. Retro mission. This map is awesome. It has this entire aesthetic that switches to a retro pixel game, and it's full of game references within a game. And the catch is there are no distance objectives. Instead, you're having to hit a specific meter marks. You progress through stages. Every 100 meters unlocks a new stage in a retro game. The new visual style within that changes as you advance. No leaderboard, no name entry, just pure retro vibes. Like these maps that change the game, they're so cool. It's so interesting how this is how the game works. After that, I unlocked the rocket and the hot rod. Both maxed out. The retro mission map uses its own built-in car, so the upgrades wouldn't apply there. And then, finally, the last map unlocked, which also triggered a Globetrotter achievement for unlocking every single map. The final map is completely unlike anything else in the game. No distance objective, no missions, just a red flag that goes on forever. The concept is that you're driving between planets. There is no road. You literally jump from one planet to the next, and each planet has its own gravitational pull that drags you depending on the size. Fall off at the wrong edge, and you're just floating away in space. And on top of that, there are black holes around, legitimately one of the most creative map concepts I've ever seen in a mobile game, and I've only played it briefly since there's nothing to really officially complete here. But I had a really great time on this map, and I'm gonna remember it for quite a while. So at this point, 100% on every map, every main objective cleared. What was left in finishing up were the vehicle upgrades on any cars I'd missed. The luxury car was one, all gold, 2 women in the back who immediately flew off the moment I started moving on this thing. Lost both of them. And the car itself looks amazing. Super blinged out. I really like this one. And then there's this wild multi-car ring, vehicle, a bunch of cars that merge into each other in a spinning wheel. Strangest vehicle in the game, really. It's really weird. Basically unkillable. You just lose individual cars one by one as they break off. But even after losing all of them, something still protects you. The only way that you can actually die is running out of gas, which is exactly what happened to me while playing. Then you get the air car. Basically a functional airplane. You fly. You control it through, and it's rough, and the fuel management is more demanding than the Moonlander from earlier. Not a great vehicle, but overall, it's pretty hard to handle. The last car. the UFO. Unlocking it triggered an achievement for unlocking every vehicle in the game. Maxed out the upgrades, took it for a spin, and it's got these propulsion blasts that make it feel a lot like the Moonlander from earlier. You're floating around, managing thrust. Pretty fun, but it burns through gas way faster than I'd like. I prefer the Moonlander overall, but the UFO is solid. After that, I went through every early vehicle I hadn't fully maxed out, and we were right at the end of this. Alright, some of these starter vehicles still had incomplete upgrades, and I unlocked them all, thousands and thousands of coins, but finally got through every single one. Then I noticed the upgrade all vehicles achievement still hadn't triggered, even though I was pretty sure I'd covered everything. I went back through the list multiple times and couldn't figure out which one was missing. Eventually, I realized the issue. I hadn't opened up all those little gift boxes that you get for unlocking each vehicle. Those boxes contain cosmetic parts for your custom car builder in your garage, where you can piece together a custom ride with the parts that you've collected. Once you've cracked every single green box open, the achievement had finally popped. And with that, Hill Climb Racing is 100% complete. Every map finished, every main objective cleared, every car unlocked with fully upgraded parts. I didn't get every single achievement, but some of them with driving 1,000,000 meters with every vehicle in the game would genuinely take me forever. I already post infrequent because these videos are a ton of work, and if I chased every last achievement on top of this, we'd be looking at a month or so with nothing going up. So I drew the line there. And there is literally an achievement in the game that said it wouldn't even be possible to unlock it yet. A true 100% achievement wasn't achievable even if I wanted to do that. What mattered to me was completing everything within the game itself. Every map, every car, every upgrade, and that's done. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, drop a like, subscribe if you haven't yet, and if you let me know in the comments what game you want me to 100% next, I'll let you know and I'll get on that. I read every single comment. And seriously, I love all you guys. Alright, I'm out. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.